Let's get more on that warning about rate hikes from the RBA Governor. For more, we're joined by Brian Parker, Chief Economist at Australian Retirement Trust. Morning to you.
Good morning.
What are economists forecasting here?
Well, economists are forecasting that the annual rate of inflation will stay at around 4% for the year to June. The underlying rate, so what's called the trim mean rate, economists are expecting that to sort of edge up a little bit to about 3.8%. So in other words, still too high. We still have an inflation rate that's been above where the Reserve Bank has been targeting now for about 4 years. So that's certainly a problem for the RBA at this point.
Could you tell us why? We've just had the Federal Employment Minister on, basically saying most of this is global factors. It's not what the government's doing. What is it?
Well, certainly when you look at the impact, look at what happened to oil prices, you look at what's happened as a result of the war in Iran. So certainly global factors have been a challenge. And it's not just Australia that has inflation above its target band. Most of the major economies of the world still have inflation that's above where the central bank wants it to be. But we still have a fundamental problem that demand in the economy is growing faster than supply. And if demand's growing faster than supply, you're going to be putting upward pressure on inflation. And that's really what Michele Bullock was on about yesterday.
So could the government be doing anything, or are we just sort of up the creek without a paddle?
It's a very, very delicate balancing act. I think if you look at the way governments around the world tend to manage this, the job of fighting inflation tends to fall to the central bank. Certainly, is there scope for the government to potentially do more, to maybe cut spending in some places? Maybe. But at the same time, I'm not sure they're actually a big part of the problem. To me, the fundamental thing is that you have an economy that's growing too slowly in a supply sense, and demand that's been too strong relative to that supply. And I think Michele Bullock made it pretty clear yesterday that when you think about what interest rate policy is trying to do, they're trying to slow down the growth and demand to bring that better back into balance.
OK. Brian Parker, we thank you for your time this morning.
Pleasure.
Here's David.